Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Joy News Today. I am Emefa Akosia Adati. The bulletin is live from our studios here in Kokomlemle, Accra. We're also live on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 125. Headlines this afternoon. Accra City authorities, led by the mayor, vow there will be no return for vendors who occupy pavement in the central business district as task force clear hundreds of traders from Accra's streets.
Continue with this exercise to the end of the year, and to make sure that the streets are not taken over by traders for one reason or the other. The pavements will be cleared.
We're live for you in Accra, where city authorities are explaining their strategy to decongest the city and ensure that traders do not return to the pavement. And also a little later in the bulletin, former Vice President Dr. Bawumia disputes governing NDC's claim to the recent appreciation of the cedi, implying previous efforts or trends may have contributed to the currency's gain. And also, Director General of the Ghana Standards Authority revealed that many ECG meters in use have not been calibrated.
Have been calibrated and verified by the GSC. And in the meantime, you are using has not been calibrated or verified by the Ghana Standards Authority, as required by NI 2413. Its accuracy is something that, well, is left to.
We've got these business and sports as well in this package. Joy News, independent, fearless, and credible. Please stay for details. And thank you for choosing us this afternoon. First, Accra City authorities are vowing there will be no return for hundreds of traders who have been cleared of pavements and other open places where they had been displaying their wares. The AMA and stakeholders have begun a 3-day decongestion exercise in the central business district of Accra and adjoining city centers. Chief Executive of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Michael Kpakpo Alote, warns the agenda to decongest and clean the city will continue despite pushback from traders.
Like you all saw today, it's not been easy. We have to visit certain sites twice or thrice to make sure they are off the pavement and the road. We want to assure users of the roads that we will continue with this exercise to the end of the year, and to make sure that the streets are not taken over by traders for one reason or the other. The pavements will be cleared. What we are doing is to try and use humane to resettle them. When I say resettle, is we will be looking at spaces within Accra, the streets, where we can allocate on a daily basis that they can go and trade. We're also looking at the pavements, the ones that are large enough to accommodate both pedestrians and traders, and try and put a demarcation there for them. But this exercise will continue. So Accra is clean.
Meanwhile, there have been mixed reactions to a decongestion exercise by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. While commuters welcome the action, some traders are livid.
Oh, exercise no more yet, dear. I can say, Yama Quamuada holiday, and Kay Bats, Yakitan Palaso, shawum, a Quanquala nine num, and in Sia shawum, and tis almost a pebe be a maye, Naya Poya Chicacra, Amequana de Musua, and Kayani Betty. Nasese no anka we no paint rubber no, and Kay 28 cedi. But akoye sanintino obi ba no kura 50 cedi kura wo de be ma no if you say what boka
My atlas. Oh, yes, yes, Rob. I am Panther choking. But I said, baby, I ain't to me. Baby, I to me, a man come cry. It's your son, may you say. Why can't you? My son, baby, cry. I can't check. I got best of 1 month. Because I'm your son, and mammy and son, uncle to BC. It's some of me free as I'm a cotton fear. And no back me now quite so and show me.
But as this exercise went on this morning, you can see that the flow of the vehicles can flow. So all the people who are selling on the streets has been moved for now. They are all our people.
You are happy with what has happened? Free flow of traffic?
Yeah, I'm very, very happy because and the people who have been sacked they are all our people. Right now, the MCA, there are some who are trying to allocate some place for them so that at least everybody can do his business.
It's only this side of the road that we're having a problem. So not this side. And you know, our parents, they are single mothers. And it's our moms that are doing everything. So if they sack them from here, how are they going to sell? And how are they going to manage to get money and give to us or our little brothers and sisters?
Away from that, the Food and Drugs Authority is battling enforcement challenges in its efforts to curtail the sale and smuggling of the banned Grand Chate Sangria Fort on the Ghanaian market, though a recall was done in March this year. However, Joy News checks indicate that despite the directive, the product is still available for purchase. Speaking to Joy News, the Director of Enforcement of the Food and Drugs Authority, Vigil Pra Ashong, explained that a second phase of the recall was carried out, during which half of the total stock was retrieved. The FDA is encountering challenges, particularly at the Aflao border, where directives are reportedly being circumvented.
Despite a recall and safety warning from the Food and Drugs Authority, Grand Chate Sangria Fort remains widely available in shops and pubs across Accra. The FDA had ordered a market withdrawal in March, citing violation of the Public Health Act due to lack of registration. The product's packaging, resembling children's juice boxes, poses a risk of accidental alcohol consumption, particularly among children. However, sellers say the shortage of top beer brands has driven demand for sangria as an alternative.
Anyway, but and Sunday, like a club say, we are not getting it. We are not getting it at all. It's been, difficult for us to get beer. No, if Accra Brewery, they don't bring us the drink. I was see a koto baby, now and the price is gone high. Sangria and Crofoto. Mancaso Monto and they buy it. They buy it a lot. That one and then the coffee rum, it moves. Not maybe war. Maybe war story. I did a movie for that one day.
Now, Director of Enforcement at the Food and Drugs Authority, Vigil Pra Ashong, joins us for more. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. And so you say that you're facing some challenges at the borders. Can you please explain?
Good afternoon to listeners. Can you hear me?
Yes, very clear. Thank you.
Good. When we gave out the alert, we had two objectives in mind. The first was to create the awareness so as for parents not to buy the said product, that's the sangria alcoholic beverage, for their kids because of the high level of alcoholic content. And the second was to withdraw the products from trade. I believe we've been able to achieve the first objective, that's the awareness creation. Okay. But like you rightly said, we're having challenges with the recall. Initially, we thought we were dealing with a principal importer, but in the course of the recall, we realized that we have multiple importers. So there was need for us to relook at our approach, which we've done. We've informed our colleagues at the borders. We've realized that we have more than multiple traders bringing this product into the country. So currently, we've informed FDA border officers, and we're also looking at having that support from customs so as to stop the influx of this product into the country. Okay. Then we can quickly mop up whatever we have in trade and to clear the market of the said product.
I want a bit of education. Two things, recall and mop up. Generally, what does the recall look like for the FDA?
Right. The recall is basically to clear everything as much as we can from the market.
By destroying it yourself or by letting the sellers just...
No, that's the directive to the importer. That's the principal license holder. Then the mop-up is for FDA to go around to check if really the recall has been effective. So that if we realize that we still have some of these products in trade, then we have to fall on the importer again to make sure that they clean the market of the remnants.
I've just been learning from you now that you thought you were dealing with a principal importer, which will mean that if it was just one person, then you can deal directly with that. But you have also discovered that there are many importers. Will the recall then be effective?
Yes, that's why we've changed our approach. We've moved from one principal importer to many others. And we've also informed the borders. And, with that, we believe that the recall should be effective. We may not have met our timeline of 14 days, but we believe strongly that we'll be able to clean up the market of this product.
Right, beyond the education, the recall, the mopping up, you'd learn from our news item this afternoon that it looks like there is high demand for that particular product on the market. And so are you still going to fall on education, the recalling and the mop-up, hoping that consumers will not purchase it?
Yes, once it's not registered, we don't expect to have it on the market. So until it's registered, or maybe something is done about its approval, we'll still not allow it on the market.
Would you do something about the packaging? Because you raised concerns about the packaging as well, because then if you license it, will you still stay with the packaging or you'd have the import?
No, if it should be licensed, definitely the packaging must change.
Right.
Because, the package wouldn't be the same.
All right. Mr. Vigil, thank you so much for talking to us this afternoon. Now, away from that, the former Vice President, Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia, has dismissed what he calls misplaced credit being given to the governing NDC for the cedi's recent appreciation. He argues the currency's 16% rise against the dollar since the start of the year is the result of the structured economy recovery plans rolled out by the previous NPP administration. As part of his thank you tour at the Upper West region last week, President Mahama praised the finance minister and the governor of the central bank for an impressive performance of the cedi.
Since taking over the reins of government, our focus has been on stabilizing the economy. We therefore presented to Parliament in March this year a budget which was aimed at severely trimming expenditure and channeling the saved revenue into priority programs as promised in our manifesto. I'm happy to report to you that our efforts to stabilize the economy have begun to yield results. And it is evident in the improved performance of our local currency and also a gradual reduction of prices of goods and services in the market. I wish to commend the Honorable Minister of Finance and the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, along with their teams, for the close collaboration and coordination they are displaying in this economic turnaround.
But speaking in London during an interaction with the Young Executive Forum as part of his UK thank you tour, Dr. Bawumia insisted the current government has not introduced any policy that could explain the cedi's gains.
One of the things that if you ask a simple question to the NDC to point out exactly what policy they have implemented that has resulted in the appreciation of the city. They cannot tell you one. They only passed their budget in March. They've not even issued any contracts and paid for anything, pretty much. So you cannot ascribe what is happening to the currency to a policy that they have implemented. There's no such policy that has been implemented that has had that impact yet. For me, we had anticipated the impact of gold in this economy. I talked about it when we got into dire straits in 2022. And so that is a big backing for the currency. I mean, they have been in office so far. They've not even increased it by 1 ton. 1 ton, one. Not a single 1 ton. They haven't increased it by. But people, after all the noise of the election, people are paying attention to our reserves. That is one thing, which we have built to 30 tons. Secondly, you've mentioned that the US dollar itself is on the decline globally. And that has also strengthened. If you go to Zambia, for example, the kwacha has gained a lot of ground also because you have the US dollar declining in value because of what is happening in the US with all of that. So I think those are critical. And then there's the third element, is that they are not spending. I mean, if you are managing an economy, you have to pay your bills. They are not paying IPPs, for example. This is why the doomsday is so acute. And they are not paying contractors. So when you are not spending, there's less pressure on your currency. So those are some of the reasons why you are seeing an appreciation of the currency. But if you look at it, if we had not instituted the gold purchase program as well as the gold for oil program, our economy would have collapsed.
You're watching Joy News today. And in other stories, Director General of the Ghana Standards Authority, Professor Alex Dodu, is raising concerns over the reliability of electricity meters currently in use across the country. Speaking at a stakeholder conference organized by the International Electrotechnical Commission, Professor Dodu indicated that many of the ECG meters have not been calibrated, raising red flags about both effective revenue generation and energy management. These concerns come at a time when the ECG, or Electricity Company of Ghana, is under intense public scrutiny, facing growing criticisms over power supply inconsistencies and ongoing operational inefficiencies.
A few of our meters have been calibrated and verified by the GSA. And if the meter you are using has not been calibrated or verified by the Ghana Standards Authority, as required by NI 2413, its accuracy is something that, is left to. We cannot comment on it. The law says it must be verified and calibrated, and thankfully we are working with the ECG and PURC to be sure that all the millions of meters in Ghana are calibrated and verified by the GSA. The authority given the power to do that. Because without it, consumers cannot say they are protected, industry cannot say they are trading fairly. And I know it's a very thorny issue, but as we support His Excellency in rolling out the 24-hour economy, it's important that we provide the quality infrastructure that will make the 24-hour economy succeed.
Away from that, Child Rights International is worried about the recent operation by the Ghana Immigration Service that led to the arrest and detention of more than 2,000 street beggars in Accra. The arrest, which took place on Friday, reportedly included a significant number of children, with CRI estimating that children made up of nearly 60% of those apprehended during the operation. Executive Director of CRI, Bright Apia, emphasized that while the organization supports efforts to remove children from the street, Such actions must be done with strict adherence to legal, humanitarian and child welfare standards.
As much as we think that this exercise is important, we also showing concern about the approach and the institutions that are leading the charge in dealing with this matter. And once you get Ghana Immigration Service, then the intention be that they are getting rid of these children or the adult because they feel that they have breached immigration law. And that is where we also come in. And we think that the issue at stake goes beyond breach of immigration law. It's also a social protection matter. So for that matter, we expect a certain standard to be followed in dealing with this particular case. We are making this statement because we have followed up, we have done our search. There are certain things that we feel are not in place, and we wonder how the state is taking care of the children. Because if you look at the figures, out of the 2,000 plus, almost about 60% of the people that were rescued from the street were children. So if 60%, then it means that the focus should be on them and how best we can deal with it.
In other news, the Ghana National Association of Teachers is asking government to review the promotion structure of teachers, particularly the progression to the rank of Director 1. The association describes the current process as unnecessarily long and a potential barrier to timely promotion. Outgoing chairman of the Ahafo North Municipality of the Ashanti region, Elvis Prince Baini, questioned the relevance of certain ranks, including the difference between assistant director and deputy director. Mahmoud Nuruddin has more in this report.
My administration encountered a number of challenges during the period under review, but we prevailed.
The Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, says it currently takes between 8 and 9 years for an assistant director to be promoted to deputy director. Outgoing NAT chairman in the Ahafo North Municipality, Elvis Prince Bani, describes the process as too long and demoralizing.
Our mother NAT should one call on GES to reduce the long chain of ranking system from principal to Director 1. Personally, I do not understand and I don't know the subtle difference between the AD1 and the AD2. It is just a way of marking time to waste the teacher's precious time in promotion. I think that when we say somebody is an assistant, what's the difference between an assistant and deputy? Is there any difference between an assistant and deputy? But you would have to mark time for 8 years at assistant level before you go to DD, deputy director. I believe that our leadership should pay attention to this, call on GES to strike out some of their rankings, which I think that they are unnecessary and they delay us in promotion so much.
Mr. Bani also wants the government to extend study leave to cover master's degree programs, since many teachers now hold bachelor degrees. He says that if it is not done, the study leave policy will become irrelevant.
I also call on NAT to also ensure that government extends study leave from degree. Now the entry point is degree. So effectively, the study leave is of no use now. Why don't we then extend it to the master's program such that members can take advantage of this?
Meanwhile,
you're watching Joy News today, and still on the decongestion exercise happening in Accra, the team has currently moved to the Kwame Nkrumah Circle, and my colleague James Aveji is on ground monitoring and will bring us updates. James, I know that there was a break earlier, but we're just learning that the team has moved to another location. How is it looking like over there?
From the first half of the exercise, which actually took place at the Central Business District, to do Mokola, as well as Rollins Park and
as well as the Mokola area. We are currently at a second new plan where the task force is. The MC is continuing his engagement with the traders here. From our observation so far, it looks like the compliance level here is also quite appreciable because the traders have moved their wares from the streets onto the pavement. The MC, in his engagement with them just a while ago, they have moved all the way into the new plant station proper, the Odona area proper. But from his engagement with the traders a while ago, he has been encouraging them that he understands their difficulty of living entirely the pavement. But he is giving them, by the time he goes to the far end and return, they should be able to move their wares entirely from the pavement. The understanding he gave us from that press conference is that they are resuming the second part of the engagement here, a second new plan, and if they are able to, in the course of the day, go all the way to Kaneshie to terminate today, the first day of the decongestion exercise at Kaneshie. And so that's been the general conversation and understanding between the traders and the mayor so far as we continue the decongestion exercise here in Accra. A number of cars are moving quite swiftly in the traffic. On a normal day, this place must be a very traffic-prone area, but we see traffic moving. Let me try and see if I can engage a few drivers to know what they make out of. Boss, good afternoon. Just wanted to hear from you briefly. The road is being cleared around Accra. What do you make out of this as a driver?
It's okay for us. At least we can move a bit smoother. Yeah, so that's okay. It will help the traffic to flow.
How often do you use here?
Probably once a while.
Okay.
Not that often.
Has there been any change or any difference between the last time you used here and today?
Yes, there has been. Yes, there has been. I can see some change. The flow of traffic is better now.
Okay.
Yes, it's better. Around this time, it would have been very bad. It would have been really bad around this time. 12, when workers are on break, the traffic is a bit heavier here. But today it looks better.
But, personally, do you have any understanding of what is happening today?
Yes, I do. I do.
What did you know about what is happening?
I heard it in the news that they are moving those who sell on the pavement, the walkways. Yes, so they are moving them away from the walkways.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I heard in the news. Yeah.
So you believe that this should continue and should be sustained?
I hope so. I hope it would. But, normally we start nicely, but come election time, we look on as if we've not seen what is happening. Yeah, we look on because we think if we should, put them off, we may lose votes. Okay. So if this can be sustained, especially into elections, then I think Ghana is getting somewhere.
Okay. What's your name, sir?
I'm Albert Nyako.
Okay. And so that's a driver there. Echo, quite swift on that one. Albert Nyako believes this is a good one as far as he's concerned as a driver with free flow of traffic here must be sustained, especially going into the political era. I would have really wished, Echo, to speak to a bit more of the drivers and the passengers, but the traffic will not allow me to do that as it keeps flowing a bit swiftly on the road. And so that's the situation here at second new plan, where the decongestion exercise has moved to. We'll be monitoring it in the course of the day and keep all the listeners updated, especially on all our social media platforms, where's the latest between now and when the exercise comes to an end, hopefully at Kaneshie in Accra.
Thank you so much, James Savaji. James Savaji is our man on ground. It's a 3-day decongestion exercise, and we promise to bring you every update in our subsequent bulletins. You're watching Joy News today. I'll bring you this one quickly before a break. At Jinlo Basic School in the Northeast Gonja district, children are learning in classrooms shared with goats. With inadequate desk, they sit on bare floors stained with animal waste. One of the classrooms was soaked with blood from a goat that gave birth while school was closed. Emmanuel Jivenu has more in our education series, Crumbling Start.
It's Monday morning here at Jinlo Basic School, but do not mistake this for a livestock farm. This is a classroom block in the northeast Gunja district of the Savannah region.
At times when the padlocks are not there, the goats will get access to the classroom. When they get access to the classroom, they will defecate around the place and spoil all the classroom. We have water problem. When you are having water problem too, you have to go through by it. By sweeping there, they have to sweep it. And the children are, you can see, they are sitting on the ground. No furniture for them.
Over the weekend, a goat gave birth inside this very classroom, where children are expected to sit and learn. Blood stains and fresh droppings remain on the bare floor. The classroom is not sanitized. The children only sweep and sit on the bare floor, ready for lessons.
There's many things that comes out of this good physics and lessons. But we've lodged a complaint to the district assembly, hoping that they will come and help us through it. But they said they will be coming. That's what they said to us, that they will be coming to help us. And up to now, we haven't heard from them.
Here, Kindergarten 1 and 2, as well as Primary 1 and 2, all share the same contaminated space. No desk, no chair, just a dusty, dropping, speckled floor.
This is how they sit at. So we just sit down with them. We combine the two classes with them, Nursery 1 and Nursery 2. So that's how it is. And the classroom blocks are 3. We have to be combining them, able to contain them. If not, there's not enough classrooms to be able to contain the different classes.
This is where they keep their books and other stationaries. But the stench, an overpowering mix of rat urine, feces, and rainwater is strong enough to choke you.
It is not fit to be an office. It's still in use. The inside one is just stores where we keep our books. For the whole day, it's supposed to be our staff distance, but because of the bad nature of it, we can't sit there.
The junior high block is no better, a shed with whiteboards awkwardly dividing JHS 1, 2, and 3.
Are you wondering what a natural resource is?
When clouds gather, classes end.
When it rains like this, the following day you can't sit in the class. An animal will occupy here, shit and urinate all over, even on the tables. So you have to wash, dry them before they will pack them aside for lessons. All this takes our time. Our enrollment has gone down drastically. Even this time, we couldn't get people from the primary to come to Form 1. We have only 2 people we promoted to Form 1. We are still struggling to get some people to add. So it's one of the challenges. Because parents will not want the people to come to the school like this, even the primary, because the nature of the building, they are afraid of what anything can happen over there.
Since its construction in 2000, no renovation has touched these walls. Several high-profile visits have yielded nothing but empty promises.
We were asked to apply for 8-class unit block, for which we did. And we submitted the letter to the DC, and we were told he has sent it to the appropriate quarters. But up till now, we've not heard anything. I don't think an MP or DC or the president, any of them will allow their wards to come and sit in these classrooms. Yeah, because of the nature of the whole environment. The environment is not encouraging.
This is Jinlo's Crumbling Start, where children learn in filth, hope in hardship, and dream amid decay.
I feel that we have been abandoned, so we are appealing to our honorable member of parliament and DCE and any benevolent organization to come in and support us to get a good structure for them. That will also help their studies and also let those in the house to also come to school. Because I think this building is a barrier to some of the students who doesn't want to come to school. When there's a structure for them, they will definitely come.
Hope there's hope, but for now their hope is still blinking. For now, because they need many things to be able to come out of it. Many structures, maybe learning materials, etc. They need many things to come out of it. But if that help did not come, I will not lie to you, there will be a problem.
Every child deserves a fair start. But here in Jinlo, they have been handed a crumbling one. The question is, how much longer will these children be forgotten? Emmanuel Jivenu, Joy News, Jinlo, Northeast Gonja District, Savannah Region.
Now, she turned her birthday into a blessing for the children who needed it most. At the Chosen Children's Center, multimedia journalist and news anchor Cedi Appreciation chose to give back to those she closely identifies with, children without parents. Driven by empathy and personal experience, she donated essential everyday items to support the orphans, while also calling on government to empower them with skills that can boost their future prospects. Here's more.
It was a birthday with a difference at the Chosen Children's Center. Instead of a party, gifts or cake with friends, text producer, presenter and voiceover artist Cedi Appreciation spent her day giving rather than receiving. Her reason? She's walked this road before. Poma is an orphan herself, but unlike many, she had the blessing of knowing her parents at least for a while. Driven by empathy and experience, she chose to pour into those who may have never had the chance, donating essential everyday items to support them, while also calling on the government to empower them with skills that can boost their future prospects.
I'm an orphan myself. My mother died some 17 years ago and my dad died last year, so I'm just like them. What inspired me to do that was because this year, my birthday, I decided to just celebrate my birthday with people of my kind. I also think the government can do its bit by providing some sort of skills training for these orphans, because I mean it shouldn't end at them being at an orphanage and being fed and all that. Thank you to everybody that helped to make this work. It wasn't just Decongestion, it was Decongestion and every other person that loved and bought into the idea.
Prophet Dr. Wisdom Makini commended Poma for putting smiles on the faces of the orphans and urged Ghanaians to emulate her kind gesture.
The Bible says in Proverbs 19:17 that any gift, any help unto the poor is a loan unto him, the Lord. And he, the Lord, will repay the people. So if you know this, that anything that you are doing for the needy, the Lord will repay you in myriad of fold. When you are doing it, you should do it from the free heart.
The orphanage also showed their appreciation.
I'm really happy to have Denisia's donate over here. We are so grateful to them, and we really appreciate her and her family for bringing all these wonderful items to the children. We are really grateful.
The children were elated, their smiles infectious, and in giving joy, Poma found her own, reminding us that sometimes the best birthdays are the ones we share.
You're watching Joy News today. Stay with me. Business comes up shortly.
Welcome back to Business here on Joy News today. My name is Winston Taki, and as our first business story, Third World Network Africa has convened stakeholders from across the continent for a high-level trade and development conference in Accra, calling for a renewed focus on economic diversification, value addition, and a more intentional approach to Africa's development agenda.
and Development Conference under the theme Building Cadre for Trade and Development Advocacy in Africa, aimed at strengthening the continent's capacity to shape its own economic destiny through effective trade advocacy and policy action. Addressing participants at the ceremony, Professor Patrick Esuming of the University of Ghana emphasized the critical need for African nations to look inward and diversify their economies. He noted that while policy formulation is important, it must be matched by deliberate commitment and a clear vision shared by both government and citizens.
It requires a deliberate strategy and a commitment to it. It's not going to be easy at first because, essentially, you are a market for people and you are deciding that you don't want to take their goods again. People who some way, somehow, they still have some element of control in some aspect. But we have to stay the course. And, we had an example of people saying, I'll just buy chicken from Brazil because it's cheaper. You should understand that it's taking years for Brazil to produce chicken at that rate. And it starts with government effort. If the government of Ghana decided that for school feeding and for other things, it's only buy Ghana, that is creating a big market for local farmers and local producers. So, and then, people, you get productive from there. But I think the ASCFTA is key because we need to begin to look more inward.
Professor Esuming also advocated for increased effort in value addition, urging governments to encourage the processing of raw materials into finished or semi-finished goods before export. He maintained that even small-scale efforts can significantly enhance the retention of value within the local economies, ultimately leading to sustainable development.
You can start with low value addition, especially when you have a lot of agriculture products, when you have a lot of fruits and vegetables, just simple processing. These days we have technologies for drying even fruits, drying vegetables, and we do see some on our local markets. Our government have to encourage those, so that we retain more value here. I think the recognition is there. It's just the commitment and the will to do it.
The conference brought together experts, policymakers, and civil society actors dedicated to advancing inclusive trade and economic strategies across the continent.
Bid to promote youth empowerment and entrepreneurship, Ghana Grows Empowered 360, an initiative of the MasterCard Foundation led by the Springboard Show Foundation, has successfully trained 32 participants in the lucrative skills of soap making, resin art, and makeup artistry. Here's more.
The skills training in soap making, resin art, and makeup artistry, which formed part of the organization's ongoing efforts to reduce unemployment and build self-reliance among Ghanaian youth, brought together participants from across the country. Executive Director of Springboard Roadshow Foundation, Comfort Okran, revealed how this training program transcends these participants into their communities.
Now remember that some of them came from girls' clubs, so they say they'll go and show the girls' club members how to do the different skills they've come to learn. So indeed, it becomes an Empower 360. We empower a youth-led organization to teach. The youth-led organization teaches a young person. The young person is given a tool. Then the person goes back to his or her community and supports other people in the community. So it's a whole cycle. And because it's a given cycle, by the grace of God, would have young people in different communities who have different skills and can live dignified and fulfilling lives.
She also emphasized that participants are rightly trained to ensure sustainability of their businesses.
Part of the training program that we did for them included business skills. So they know they have to do their paperwork, they know they have to do their accounting, so that they don't spend their money by heart because now I've got money. No. Know that you have to have something that you put aside for your materials. You need to have something to put aside for maybe a little bit of business running costs, and put those the funds what you use, put it all down so you can see that indeed you've made X profit or Y profit. So then there is sustainability built into the program.
Participants expressed excitement about the opportunity, with many noting that the skills acquired would not only improve their personal financial situations, but also allow them to train others in their communities.
So far, the program was amazing. It's helped me acquire the skills that I'm not aware of. So I'm highly excited to thank the Springboard Roadshow Foundation, Mr. and Mrs. Okan, for their good work they have done, the management team. And I'm also grateful to thank the board for creating a room from physically challenged people also to take part in their program.
Looking back at the community, we know there are so many people there with so many skills, but the soap making isn't very common. So as I'm here, when I get back to the community, I'm going to use that as my business so that I can also empower the young people in the community, teach them how to also do the soap so that they will also be able to provide for themselves and also cater for others.
This initiative adds to the growing list of youth empowerment programs in Ghana, focused on practical job-ready skills that align with local market demands.
That's all for business here on Joy News today. Up next is sports.
We bring you sports now on Joy News today with me, Muftaru Nabila Abdullahi. President of Ghana Athletics, Bawumia, has revealed that there is a possibility the athletics governing body could organize a national championship if many athletes qualify in the sprint events for this year's Tokyo World Athletics Championships. Speaking to the media after Accra Open Championships at the University of Ghana, Bawumia believes that the right environment is being created to ensure there's competitiveness in the sprint events.
We want to give the juniors more competition for African Junior Championship in July in Cape Coast, in Nigeria. So these are their final trials. So after this one, we will select a team, junior team, to represent Ghana at the African Junior Championship in Abeokuta, Nigeria. The seniors, so this is their first outdoor competition. We'll have a couple of them before August, so that by August we will formalize our 4x100 for the World Championship in Japan. Right from here, then Nigeria, we will do African Junior Championship in Nigeria, and we'll come back to do West African Junior Championship in Accra. We're supposed to do it before the African Junior Championship, but because of time factor, we could not get enough funds for the West African Juniors. So we'll do the African Juniors, we'll come back to Ghana and do the West African Juniors, then we'll do our national championship in August, where we'll have final selection for World Championship in Japan. We are praying and hoping that we will get more athletes qualifying for the 100 meters than 3. If it's more than 3, then we have to bring all our foreign-based athletes to come to Ghana and do national trials, just like how Nigeria does it. America, US, Australia, and South Africa. They always bring their topmost athletes to come down to their country to compete.
Let's do some transfer news. Though the European window is yet to officially open, or in fact, the season is yet to even officially end. However, clubs are already in the market tapping players. A few days ago, Real Madrid confirmed the signing of a £50 million defender from Bournemouth in Hutchison. And Manchester United are also close to securing the services of Wolves defender Matheus Cunha. And former Liverpool defender Jamie Carragher, he has described him as a perfect addition. Ruben Amorim size need.
It's a great signing. I think he's a brilliant player. I love watching him play. We're going to pick our team of the season tonight, but he was in my team of the halfway point of the season, so we had a great start to the season. I watched him at Man City a few weeks ago. He looked really sharp, quick. And we know how, the manager at Manchester United wants to play. He likes sort of 2 number 10s in his team. And I think he'd fit perfectly.
What does that mean for the likes of, say, Alejandro Garnacho?
Well, it's certainly not good news, because I think Ahmad might play one of those other positions alongside Cunha or maybe Bruno Fernandes at different times. And there is a lot of talk about Garnacho moving on, because I think he's come through the academy system, and we know what that means for the PSR of the club. And we also know Man United have got, a few problems with that issue right now. So I think if a decent offer comes in for Garnacho, I think probably Man United will take that. Interesting.
Of course, they're in the Europa League final this week. You said on the overlap, United will win that final. Why?
I just think they're used to winning big games. I don't think there's too much to, pick between the teams. We can see that from the league table. I just think of what Manchester United have done in the last few years. They've still won trophies at the end of seasons, and they're a club who are used to winning trophies. Tottenham aren't. And I think when you take that into a final, I think Man United will believe they're going to win. I'm not quite sure Tottenham will believe they can win, but it has been a season of cup upsets. We've seen that with Newcastle beating Liverpool. We've seen it with Crystal Palace beating Manchester City. So hopefully we see the same next week.
Yeah, indeed. Thanks for that. All right, so which of the two managers needs it more, this win in the Europa League final?
In terms of maybe being at the club next season, I would probably say Ange Postecoglou, but I think the man on our left here, I think needs it desperately as well.
That is your sports for now. We do have more sports stories on myjoyonline.com. MFR is standing by the rest of the news.
Yeah, did we go on a bet on some,
If we bet, you will lose. Just take it like that.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, sports, and it'll be a wrap for the bulletin as well. My name is MFR Akosia Adeti. For more news, do log on to myjoyonline.com. Thank you for watching.